That's a big result that we've been able to deliver. Before you go, let me switch gears and ask you about... Hi
guys, welcome back to XCOM Enemy Within.
I know that you have issued ethics complaints against the judge.
Let's see, just getting it loaded up here.
Tell me what you're doing with regard to that and how you would
There we go.
Trial right now for Trump. This is a political witch hunt against Joe Biden's opponent, who is Donald Trump, and it's because Democrats cannot win at the ballot box. The fact that they have a gag order on President Trump in the midst of a general election campaign shows how desperate the Democrats are. You have a corrupt judge in Judge Merchant. Not only did he donate personally to the Biden campaign, but an immediate member of his family is raising tens of millions of dollars off of the trial itself and attacking Donald Trump. This is the chief online fundraiser for Adam Schiff to the tune of nearly $90 million, Maria. So this is corrupt to its core.
Forward to catch that.
This is in the left and the corrupt DOJ. This is apparently what they're doing with lawfare, and we need to stand strong and make sure that this never happens again. When it comes to the star witness for this political witch hunt, this is an individual who perjured himself in front of Congress, who is a known liar. And I urge the Department of Justice to continue the criminal contempt against Michael Cohen, but there is no case here. It is desperation, and it's a desperate form of election interference. Congresswoman, you were in Mar-a-Lago this week. Did President Trump turn up you being his vice presidential candidate? Oh, we had a lot of great members there. What really came out across to me, Maria, was how unified the Republican Party is and how many rising stars we have. There's a lot of names that are in the mix. I'm honored to have my names as one of them in the mix right now, but it is a true testament to the strength of the Republican Party. You have so many up-and-comers who are working hard every day to save America, and this is really a unified campaign to support President Trump, who will save this country this November. Congresswoman, it's good to see you this morning. Thanks very much. Thanks, Maria. All right, Elise Decline joining us this morning in New York. Quick break, and then Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen gets political, warning against a second term for former President Trump, while inflation is up nearly 19% and growth has fallen to just 1.6% on the watch.
Democracy is associated with strong, independent institutions that uphold the rule of law. Winners are not predetermined or subject to arbitrary and unpredictable whims of political leaders.
RNC co-chair Donald Trump with reaction as new polling shows the 45th president leading in 7 crucial swing states. Stay with us.
Dad, what's with your toenail?
Oh, that? I'm not sure.
It's a nail fungus infection. That's gross.
That's nothing really.
It's contagious. You can even spread it to other people.
Don't worry about it.
No one wants all wear its own. It's an infection. You need a prescription.
Nail fungus is a contagious infection. At the first signs, show it to your doctor and ask if Jublia is right for you. Jublia is a prescription medicine used to treat nail fungus. Its most common side effects include erosion, application site redness, itching, swelling, burning, or stinging, blisters, and pain. Jublia is recognized by the APMA. Most commercially insured patients will pay as little as $0 copay. Go to JubliaRx.com now to get started.
Frozen is no better frozen.
Are you getting me anything for Mother's Day?
Go to 1-800-Flowers.com.
Hey, wow. Gorgeous.
I feel like royalty.
Thank you.
1-800-Flowers.com. Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
At Granger, we know the ones who get it done worth a lot of hats. A hard hat is one. Problem solver is another. Whatever the job calls for, we're here. We are America's trusted force for industrial-grade products, with the scale and resources to deliver and the knowledge to help answer such product questions. Because we know that hats change. But having access to real people ready to help find the best.
Holy shit, we're getting nothing off this ship now. These guys will blow the fuck out of everything.
With the ones who get it done.
Let's see.
I was getting older.
My digestion is changing.
I started taking one shot a dose.
Ship's mapped out. Who takes a free shot?
It aids liver function. It supports
Drew the fucking mist. I put that there so I wouldn't get nailed.
This is not a dryer sheet.
See.
Type of laundry detergent that looks like this. It's also so easy to use. Dissolves quickly in any wash. And my personal favorite, no plastic jug. Learn more at earthbreeze.com.
Prick.
Mishandling the Mideast?
Joe Biden is a disaster in so many respects. On policy at the top.
Michael Waltz and Ellen Dershowitz react tonight on Life Liberty Limited. Follow your pet's every step with the world's most trusted GPS tracker.
It didn't say anywhere on here I was supposed to capture the fucking prick. Normally it says on here I'm supposed to capture him. Fucking prick. Let's see.
The program helped me a lot because I met other kids who were going through the same struggles as me. So I was able to relate and find somewhere where I could fit in. Thanks to your support of United Way, I'm able to achieve my dreams and become a doctor.
Interesting about this 4 years, it shows how bad their policies are. It shows that their policies don't work. And one of the reasons we are more popular than we were 4 years ago, we were very popular, but more popular is because they're so bad. They're so incompetent. They're so evil. They're so corrupt. And it makes us look that much better.
And then as former President Trump on the campaign trail in Michigan and Wisconsin on Wednesday amid his ongoing trial in New York, brought by Manhattan Democrat prosecutor Alvin Bragg. On Thursday night, after spending the entire day in court, the briefing president made his way to a New York City firehouse in Midtown Manhattan to deliver boxes of pizza to the brave men and women of SDNY. My Heroes, Fire Department of New York. A new poll from Emerson College and The Hill shows President Trump leading President Biden in 7 swing states that account for a total of 93 electoral votes. Joining me now with more on the presidential race is co-chair of the RNC, Lara Trump. Lara, good to see you. Thanks very much for being here. And I want to start right there because President Trump seems to be in, a bodega here and the Fire Department of New York there, trying to fit in campaign stuff whenever he can. But the majority of his time is in a courtroom. How are you raising money and putting President Trump in front of donors if he's got to be in New York all day long?
Yeah, well, obviously, Maria, that's by design. They want to keep Donald Trump trapped in a courtroom and not able to go out and campaign. And their hope is that somehow that helps Joe Biden. But it's amazing to see. It's almost like Sylvester the cat and Tweety Bird. When Sylvester goes hard after Tweety Bird, it always backfires. And that's exactly what's happening to the Democrats right now, because you see, as you pointed out, Donald Trump's poll numbers continuing to go up. And at the RNC and Trump campaign, we announced that our April fundraising exceeded our expectations. We raised $76 million. And the beauty of that is the average donation, Maria, is under $30. That means the people of this country understand what's at stake. They understand what is happening to this man, this lawfare that is being waged against him in an attempt to interfere in an election. And they are fighting back, even in the midst of this abysmal economy that Joe Biden has handed us. People are donating their money, DonaldJTrump.com, if anybody wants to support us, because they understand what is at stake right now. So you're right. We get the weekends and we get Wednesdays typically with Donald Trump, the candidate, to go out and campaign, but he does these incredible stops. He goes, as you just pointed out, to the bodega in Harlem and gets a crowd Joe Biden couldn't even dream of. He goes and interacts with the FDNY, with construction workers at 6:30 in the morning. It is earned media that Joe Biden will never get. He cannot do these kind of stops because no one will show up for him. The energy behind Donald Trump is palpable across this country. We just had a poll yesterday come out showing that the state of Washington, right now, Donald Trump is leading by 1 point, so it's within the margin of error, but nonetheless, leading Joe Biden. That tells you where this country is. We need Donald Trump back in the White House, and the lawfare and the communist tactics the Democrats are employing are backfiring.
Look, I think people want to see one-on-one Trump, Biden on stage for a debate. with enough time to put their vote in. But I believe the first debate happens after the early voting begins.
Yeah, it's insane. And we've called for more debates. Donald Trump has said anytime, anywhere, any place, he will debate Joe Biden. And by the way, up until we got an interview between, of all people, Howard Stern and Joe Biden, we didn't even know if Joe Biden would commit to debates. We couldn't get an answer from his campaign. It is imperative to see these two men on a stage, to see these two candidates who want to not just lead our country, but be the leader of the free world, head-to-head, face-to-face, on a debate stage. We need to hear from them, not only about what they accomplished in their presidencies, because we can compare two presidencies at this point, but their vision for the future of this country. The truth is, we all know, Joe Biden can't do it. His campaign has been very reluctant to even comment on this. But as you point out, the Presidential Debate Commission has the first debate starting weeks after early voting, Maria. We know that millions of people will cast a ballot for one of these two candidates before they get to see these two men debate. We need earlier debates, and we have said from the Trump campaign and the RNC, if they are not willing to move those debates forward, we would say to any network out there who would like to host a debate, Donald Trump will be there. Joe Biden, we ask you to show up because it is that important to the future of this country.
You've been saying for a while now that your priority is to ensure a transparent election, and I see that the RNC and the Trump campaign filing a lawsuit in a battle-bound state to stop counting ballots past Election Day. What are you doing with regard to suing Nevada right now?
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. You cannot have ballots counted, Maria.
Any miss.
Elections are over. And right now, that is one of the many lawsuits we have out across this country to ensure that just that happens, that we have a free, fair, and transparent election. So in Nevada, as you pointed out, we are saying we want on Election Day that to be the last day that mail-in ballots can be counted. And we've been very successful in a lot of lawsuits.
Well, that was a direct miss.
Lawsuit in the state of Pennsylvania, they wanted to take off dates from
no power source.
Of course, the Democrats, in an effort to make it easier to cheat. We pushed back on that, we won, and that set precedent for the entire country. So whether it's Nevada, whether it's Pennsylvania, or whether it's in New York City, where we actually just had a big win, they were trying to encourage 800,000 non-citizens to vote. We had a bipartisan effort led by the RNC. We won there. They are not going to be able to do that. And we are doing those things all across the country because we can't be reactive. We have to be proactive. We have to look at this well ahead of Election Day and the election season that we now have in this country. We're doing everything from the RNC to ensure that that happens.
So what else can you tell us specifically that you're doing right now to ensure a transparent and free election in November? What, 5.5 months away now?
Yeah, it's closing in fast, and we have everything working at the RNC and the Trump campaign. ProtectTheVote.com. I can't overstate how important it is for us to get people on our election integrity team. It is the largest division we have right now at the RNC. If you want to volunteer out there to be a poll watcher, a poll worker, someone who can actually work in these polling locations and tabulation centers, we are now able to train you. We want you to join our team. If you're an attorney, we want attorneys volunteering as well because we want them in every single major polling location across this country to ensure that we are not waiting for weeks after Election Day. We are going to strike at a moment's notice during early voting, during Election Day voting. We have to have our eyes on everything, so we want people to come volunteer. Michael Watley, the chairman of the RNC, and I have announced that we want 100,000 people on our election integrity team.
Watch too. This could be a wipe.
That goal. So I want to encourage everyone out there, please come join us because Maria, it is the most important thing.
All right, Lara, we'll be watching all of that. Thanks very much for being here this morning.
Thank you so much.
All right, Lara Trump joining us. Quick break and then another in decline. Yet Democratic judges and prosecutors are focused on taking down one man and one man only, Donald Trump. A deep dive into Trump's New York trial and the classified documents.
Okay.
Details emerge on then Vice President Joe Biden and the sensitive documents he walked away with. Former prosecutor, congressman, and director of national intelligence John Ratcliffe on the state of affairs and the impact on national security. Stay with us.
She runs and plays like a puppy again.
His number 2's perfect. He's a brand new dog all in less than a year.
When people switch their dog's food from kibble to the farmer's dog, they often say that it feels like magic. But there's no magic involved.
It's simply fresh meat and vegetables with all the nutrients dogs need, instead of dried pellets. Just food made for the health of dogs, delivered in packs portioned for your dog. It's amazing what real food can do. Stay ahead of your child's moderate to severe eczema, and we can show off clearer skin and less itch with Dupixent, the #1 prescribed biologic by dermatologists and allergists that helps heal your child's
I
skin.
believe it was.
Serious allergic reactions can occur that can be severe. Tell your doctor about new or worsening eye problems, such as eye pain or vision changes, including blurred vision, joint aches and pain, or a parasitic infection. Don't change or stop asthma medicines without talking to
Sufficient resources for now.
a specialist about Dupixent.
I'll get back to you.
The best Mother's Day food gifts are shipping nationwide. So if you want Martha Stewart's strawberry layer cake, Jacques Torres' signature chocolates, Danielle Lelou's award-winning beef and butter kit, or legendary cheesecake from Junior's Restaurant, Gold Elliott, shipping the greatest food gifts to your door. Order now for Mother's Day and get free shipping anywhere nationwide.
Over 13 million Americans were affected by identity theft in 2022. Your information could be used to open loans, transfer home titles, or even commit crimes. Only LifeLock alerts you to the widest volume of threats all in one place. And if you're a victim, LifeLock works to fix it on your behalf, all backed by the $1 million protection package. Roll now. It's hard to run a business on your own. Make it easier on yourself. With Shopify, you can have your inventory, payments, and customers in sync across all the places you sell. Start your journey with a free trial today.
Ooh, so sorry again.
So congested.
You need Sinex Saline from this.
Just Sinex? Breathe.
What is... Wow.
Sinex? Breathe. This isn't just your normal bike. It folds, it unfolds, and it just goes. You can climb that hill, no problem. And if you're looking for speed, it's the right place. 28 miles per hour, up to 65 miles of range. And equipped with hydraulic brakes. This is the Electric XP 3.0. Fully foldable, fully assembled, ships free. Simple as that. Go to electricebikes.com and come ride with us.
One of my favorite supplements is Qunol Turmeric. Turmeric helps with healthy joints and inflammation support, and Qunol has the #1 doctor recommended form of turmeric. Qunol, the brand I trust.
Any response to trade rumors we keep hearing about? Oh, we're talking about moving? Not the trade. Not the trade. We're talking about moving. No thank you. You could use open door. So your house strapped into them. Easy. I guess we'll move. Believe it or not, baby, you can earn your masters.
For under 11,000.
Master's degree for under 11K in less than a year.
Earn your competency-based masters at University of Phoenix. Life insurance is too important to put off another day. That's why Select Quote makes getting coverage you need easy. Now get up to a $2 million policy with no medical exam and same-day coverage.
Visit selectquote.com now.
I was shocked at how highly classified these documents are. The media wants you to believe, oh, this was just some old Cold War stuff that old senile Biden maybe had in his garage from decades ago. No, it was recent. It was relevant. And I mean, they had so
I need
many
weapons
Cold
and
War
armor
laws that
before
I've
I
learned
do
for
that.
20 years. I had
Let's
to
see.
ask what they meant.
And that was Florida Congressman and House Intelligence Committee member Michael Waltz breaking news on this program last weekend with details on just how sensitive those classified documents are that were kept in President Biden's garage next to his Corvette, as well as at the Biden Center. The top secret documents dated back to Biden's tenure as both a vice president and a senator, which he had no authority to personally keep. Despite the national security risk, Special Counsel Robert Mueller declined to charge Biden, in part because he said he's, quote, an elderly man with a poor memory. Meanwhile, Special Counsel Jack Smith is still pursuing his classified documents case against former President Trump. In a filing on Thursday, Trump's attorneys called for the 40-count indictment to be tossed, citing her decision not to charge Biden. And former Vice President Mike Pence admitted that he kept classified documents at his Indiana home after he left the White House. The DOJ declined to charge Pence, closing the case last year. Then this bombshell. The FBI admitting to misrepresenting the documents that they claimed to have taken from Trump estate Mar-a-Lago. Joining me now with more on this Sunday Morning Futures exclusive on all of this is the former Director of National Intelligence and former prosecutor himself, John Ratcliffe. John, it's good to see you this morning. Thanks very much for being here.
Morning, Marie.
I'm going to get to the classified documents issue in a moment and this misrepresentation by the FBI. Your legal aspect of the Manhattan DA's trial right now.
Well, it's been a train wreck for the prosecution. Look, every witness that they've called so far has been a witness intending to harm Donald Trump, and in fact, in every instance, they have at least in part helped Donald Trump with this case. And every witness that the state has called so far has also said that the state's most important witness, Michael Cohen, can't be believed, that he is essentially a pathological liar. So if this were a fair judge and a fair jury, the case already would have been dismissed or the case would be decided in the jurors' minds. But we don't have a judge in this case who is allowing, through his rulings, the prosecutors to pursue an impossibility. The case that they're prosecuting, Maria, is to try and show the jury that Donald Trump somehow magically, mystically, impossibly business records entries in 2017 somehow influenced the presidential election of 2016. Their whole case is premised on the idea that all of the conduct that they discuss, which is lawful, is somehow unlawful, and the judge is allowing them to do that. And of course, we know that that is, in the end, is reversible error. But in this case, we have a judge who voted for Joe Biden, donated to Joe Biden, whose daughter works for Joe Biden's vice president, Kamala Harris, and for Adam Schiff, and for the Democratic Party. And that has clearly been reflected in his rulings against President Trump throughout this trial. And that's the only danger that President Trump has in this matter, because from a legal standpoint, again, they're attempting to prove something that is absolutely legally impossible, and his conduct is absolutely lawful in every respect, and it is reversible error on any number of grounds when this case ultimately goes up, if it had to, with a verdict against the former president.
Now, you believe this was all coordinated because you point out that there were some of these DAs that were meeting with White House counsel.
Well, it absolutely is. It was systematically coordinated. Look, this lawfare campaign, Maria, is the most unlawful and unconstitutional political persecution and instance of election interference that hopefully any of us will see in our lifetime. I mean, as you know, what you have is the leading Republican presidential candidate and nominee in waiting. And the year before that election, there's not one, not two, not three, but 4 criminal indictments, all brought by Democratic prosecutors in either blue states or blue counties, or by his opponent's own Department of Justice. So it's absolutely out of bounds. It's absolutely coordinated. But it's also, Maria, it's also failing. I mean, let's take inventory of where they are. In Georgia, the Fani Willis prosecution has all but collapsed under the weight of her own corruption. In the Jack Smith matter, you have 2 cases, and the January 6th case has already been shot down in court once and is likely to be shot down shortly on the immunity issue. And in this case that you referenced before, it's hanging by a thread, Maria, because as you pointed out, he's now had to admit on the road that in filings with the court that they tampered with evidence and misrepresented or lied to the court about that, which then leaves us with this New York case, which, really at the end of the day, the only question for the jury in this case should be who's more corrupt, the prosecutors or the judge.
So, in terms of the classified documents case, I remember the infamous picture that the FBI took of all those classified documents that they said that they took from Mar-a-Lago. Specifically, tell me about what you're saying, that what evidence was tampered with, and did the FBI tamper with this?
Yeah, so that famous photograph, what we have now learned, and the government has had, Jack Smith and his prosecutors have had to admit, is that was staged, and those top secret classified sheets that all the public saw and said, oh my God, look at those top secret documents. Those were placed there by the FBI, and what Jack Smith admitted in court this week was that, in his words, they mishandled the classified documents and misrepresented those to the court. Maria, that's a kind way of saying we tampered with the evidence and then we lied to the court about it. And they got caught when President Trump's lawyers and the other co-defendants raised this issue and said, look, the documents here don't match up. The documents that were presented to us don't match the digitally scanned records of when they were taken from Mar-a-Lago. And Jack Smith, not only did they tamper with that and lie to the court about it, but he's now admitted to the court that he doesn't know how that happened. He's only offered a number of possible explanations for how that could have happened. So he's absolutely blown the chain of custody. And again, he has a prosecutor, lead prosecutor in this case, Jay Bratt, who met with White House counsel and a representative of the National Archives several times in the weeks before Jack Smith was even appointed. Wow, Maria, this reeks of crossfire hurricane when the Obama-Biden administration fabricated evidence before the FISA court, lied to the court about it to pursue Donald Trump, and now we're seeing it again in this classified documents case. The judge could dismiss this case at any point in time, Maria. I think the only reason that she hasn't is she wants to document this publicly so that the public can see just how this case is being prosecuted, how unfairly Donald Trump has been persecuted in this matter by Joe Biden's Department of Justice.
Let me move on, John, and ask you about the issues of the day with regard to foreign policy. There is a ultimatum on the table for Hamas. They either have to agree to give up and let these hostages free, or Netanyahu is promising to go into Rafah and take down the Hamas terrorists. How do you see that unfolding? And I want to get your take on the China role here, because we are waiting to see some kind of a tough stance against communist China for all of this bad behavior, but it just hasn't happened from this administration.
Well, it's not going to happen. It hasn't happened, and it's not going to happen. But with respect to what's happening in Israel is, Prime Minister Netanyahu has given an ultimatum to Hamas. You have 1 week to accept a 6-week ceasefire in exchange for releasing the hostages. Hamas is responding so far and said, no, you have to promise to end the war. You know who's agreeing with Hamas? The Biden administration. We should be helping Benjamin Netanyahu. We should do everything we can to allow him to go into Rafah and eradicate the remaining 4 battalions of Hamas that are still in Gaza. Because, Maria, what happens with Hamas here is a blueprint for what's going to happen with Hezbollah, the Houthis, with Al-Qaeda, with ISIS, with every radical Islamic group. And we should be supporting Israel in this struggle, not supporting Hamas, which is what the Biden administration is doing, and what China is doing. So at the same day that Anthony Blinken left Beijing last week, the People's Republic of China received a delegation from, yes, you guessed it, Hamas. So they are working in that region to help Hamas, and they are working in the United States through TikTok and through their assets here in the United States to foment unrest in this country.
John, one thing I want to know real quick, we've got to jump, but all of these Chinese nationals that have come through the border, the open border, 25,000 just since October, on top of another 25,000 the year before. Do we have any knowledge in terms of whether or not any of them were saboteurs in these college campus unrest? We're trying to understand who's behind all of this, and also trying to understand why so many Chinese nationals have come through the wide open border on Joe Biden's watch.
Yeah, well, we wouldn't know because Joe Biden did nothing to track these Chinese nationals coming into the country. But you'd be insane not to think that of the 24,000 that have just recently come in, that they're not playing some role in what China's trying to do, which is to create chaos in this country. We know that they're doing it through TikTok. So many of the assets that they've now brought into this country that we know from our intelligence they have are likely contributing on the ground to foment this chaos across the country on our campuses.
It's a story that I will certainly follow. John, it's good to see you this morning. Thanks very much. Former Director of National Intelligence, John Ratcliffe. We're going to take a break and then talk with Ray Kelly, former NYPD Commissioner. Next.
Las Vegas Grand Prix chooses T-Mobile for Business for 5G solutions. Because T-Mobile is on power operations and experiences for hundreds of thousands of fans with reliable 5G connectivity. Now's the time to accelerate your business. Okay, everyone, our mission is to provide complete balanced nutrition for strength and energy.
Ensure with 27 vitamins and minerals, nutrients for immune health, and Ensure Complete with 30 grams of protein.
Look, things may seem fine down there, but you need to watch out for diseases. I'll be okay. Does this look okay? No. How do I protect myself? With the new Scott's Healthy Plus Lawn Food. It's the only product that prevents 27 diseases while feeding your grass to help keep your lawn healthy this season. Want me to show you how to put it on? Oh, no, I think I know how to use the spreader. Pick up a bag of the new Scott's Turf Builder Healthy Plus Lawn Food today. Feed your lawn. Feed it.
Here at Allegiance Flag Supply, we grew sick and tired of flying flags that were made overseas, flags that would rip and tear easily. So we really made a commitment to quality. All of our flags are finished with bar tacking at all the stress points, and they are sewn using double needle lock stitching.
All of our flag materials are sourced in America, and they are made by American businesses. So we're American made from beginning to end.
Shop now at showallegiance.com. Everyday chaos. This Mother's Day, help Mom take it in stride with thoughtful gifts from WeatherTech. From playing in the rain with muddy cleats on the floor lines to dirty camping reminders in the carpet, smoking toddlers testing out the all-purpose thing, epic food fights contained by the secret. And a comfort to secure her phone just like that. Made Mom's life easier. Order these American-made products or gift card at WT.com. Happy Mother's Day from WeatherTech.
Most guys get serious eye bags as they get older. But most guys don't do anything about it because
What the fuck?
guys don't really understand skincare. They think it's too
Oh, for fuck's sakes.
anything actually works. But here's the thing. Most guys are wrong because there are actually a few ways to reduce your eye bags, and one of the easiest part of the 6-in-1 face wash
Jesus.
and most guys actually can afford it. Because it's 6-in-1 formula means you're getting 6 products packed into one. Just wash your face and then massage in the particle for 30 seconds. Before you know it, you're looking younger than, well, but forget about most guys. Just be you. Get a younger version of you. You can order right now at particlemen.com. We've got free shipping in the United States plus 30-day money-back guarantee.
Dave Portnoy is known as the founder of Barstool Sports and is known for his sharp commentary and down-to-earth one-bite pizza reviews. Dave created the Barstool Fund during COVID and raised $50 million to help small businesses stay afloat.
What worked with the Barstool Fund? They knew they were giving us money, and the money was more pricey to businesses that want to give the money to. People knew where the money was going.
95.1% of every dollar that is raised goes to our great heroes.
Yeah, and that's a huge part. I did all the research I know about you guys.
I only did what you raised the Hamilton Towers Foundation.
Right, which is always high pressure when you sit right next to the guy. It's like, but we'll give a 10, even though I don't generally give 10. That's a rookie score. We'll give it 10. I won't be afraid of that.
You know, we ask for $11 a month.
$1 to get full pie, we're good to go. Skip one pie.
You skip one pie and you help a hero and the family that are left behind. So let's do good together. Let's do it.
Welcome back. Well, since the anti-Israel college campus protests and encampments began on April 17th at Columbia, there have been over 2,400 arrests on 46 college campuses across the country, according to the Associated Press. We are told a high portion of the protesters were arrested this past week at Columbia, and the City College of New York are actually from outside the country, outside agitators, people not connected to the school at all. Sources also said that the nationwide protests are coordinated and agitators are getting direction from groups on social media. Joining me now is one of the leading experts on the rise of anti-Semitism across the world, former New York City Police Commissioner Ray Kelly. Commissioner, it's always great to see you. Thanks very much for being here this morning.
Thanks for having me, Maria.
First, I want to ask you about the anti-Semitism. I also want to ask you about crime in New York. But let's stay with anti-Semitism for a moment, because you've done a study on the world. How would you assess what has taken place across the country on college campuses in the last 2 weeks?
Well, I think it's been the flames have been ignited by one organization in particular. That's the Students for Justice in Palestine, SJP. They've been around since 1993. They have over 200 chapters on college campuses. And this spontaneity of the services all over the country indicates to me that an organization very much like SJP has fueled all of this and provided money. They get money from overseas, from Middle Eastern countries. So they are very active in all of everything we see these days. SJP is very much involved in it. I think the prime mover behind a lot of it.
Who supports that group? I mean, there's a lot of conversation about liberal groups like a George Soros. Do you put him anywhere near this?
Yes, George Soros, of course, he does it through his umbrella group, Open Society, and they funnel money down to a lot of these organizations. The organizations, by the way, changed their name, but clearly money is coming from overseas and from Soros. He doesn't need overseas money, but it's coming to these organizations, and obviously this is what they want. That's why I don't think this is going to stop. This is going to go into the summer. The NYPD is going to be busy this summer, as our other police departments. The war is continuing, so it's going to go on. But I think to do an investigation here. Certainly, with a lot of, I say, these things happening spontaneously all over. So we need the federal government investigative capacity to look at this whole situation. Where's the money coming from? Where is the training coming from? We saw that almost half of these people arrested are not students. So a lot of them are just professional agitators.
And you've told me that
administration to education.
And you've told me that there's one country that you feel that Jews are the safest right now because of just that very thing, because you feel that the government has taken a real interest and have put laws in place. We're going to talk about that when we come right back. Stay with us. I'm talking to Ray Kelly. We'll be right back.
Progressive makes it easy to save with a quick commercial auto quote online. So you can get back to your monster to-do list.
Really?
Get a quote at progressivecommercial.com.
Everything goes.
From design and products to removal and installation, Remap is with you through every step of your remodel. Call or visit remap.com for your free in-home design consultation.
Does your windshield have a crack? Trust SafeLight. This customer had auto blast damage, but he was busy working from home. So he scheduled with SafeLight in just a few clicks. We came to his house. Then we got to work. We replaced his windshield and installed new wipers to protect his new glass.
Fuck, man, that was quite the mess.
We come to you for free. Schedule now for free mobile service at SafeLight.com.
20 seconds a week to lose 20% of your weight in a year with diet and exercise. That's the power of GLP-1s through Row. Connect with a provider today at row.co/20.
Sometimes John wrestles with falling asleep, so he takes ZzzQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, and wakes up feeling like himself. Get the rest to be your best with non-habit-forming ZzzQuil. Better days start with ZzzQuil nights. When you own a small business, every second counts. Save time marketing and constant contact with email, SMS, and social posts all in one place. So you still have time to make someone's day.
Wow.
At ConstantContact.com. More real estate professionals list properties with Realtor.com than any other site. Really? Really. Trust the #1 app real estate professionals trust. Download the Realtor.com app today.
Evan Bruskovich will remain jailed on espionage charges.
A Russian court has rejected the latest appeal. Our prayers are with Evan at this time.
Oh, man.
Except bone marrow.
No? Did I go? What?
You ever better try when you're high? Think again. Smoking weed affects reaction time and concentration. A message from that.
Every penny I was making was spent on drugs. When I found out about what the United Way was doing, I was sitting inside the medical clinic on the phone, talking with someone saying, I lose everything. I got nothing. I might have been dead.
Heading to that location.
I'm 14 years ago. I thought that was awesome. United Way made that awesome.
I wanted us to go in that one down. You're gonna have to get comfortable being up to this much of a girl. Just what happened to liver transplant. They're asking us to reduce the family's medical bills due to hardships. I'm asking you what he said. Was that funny? We all need to learn outside ourselves.
I appreciate everything you've done.
I'm good at things, taking over and answering one. Welcome back, I'm back with former New York City Police Commissioner Ray Kelly. Commissioner, you just said we need to see a government investigation of this anti-Semitism, and you did tell me off camera that Jewish people are safest right now in Hungary. Why?
Well, I think it's because of the policies of the president there, President Orban. I interviewed many Jewish citizens in a police station in Budapest. It was a self-help group of Jewish people, and they told me they felt safe. And one of the things the president did, for instance, that made them feel safer, he put a fence up between Serbia and Hungary. And it's clear that the message has gone out. They didn't talk about
For fuck's sakes.
as in every other country that I went to. Basically feel very much at home in Hungary, in Budapest, based on the messages that they've been getting from the government.
So it matters what happens on the top.
It's disgusting.
Ray, and the crime here, you just said you think this anti-Semitism is going to continue all summer. What about the crime in New York? What's behind it?
Well, I think there's three things that are behind crime in America, quite frankly, and that is the death of George Floyd, that made cops be demonized, be criticized. A lot of them left. Also, George Soros funded district attorneys, very cleverly done, to make certain that they are, way to the left as progressives. $1 million given to Alvin Bragg in his campaign, which is serious money for a district attorney, and also the legislature. We know that the New York State legislature has gone way progressive, put in, although right before George Floyd, the no bail, no jail law, and many other things. So those things together, and people are very anxious in New York City.
They really are
worried about what's going on. Yeah.
Commissioner, it's great to have you this week. I hope you'll come back soon. Former New York City Police Commissioner Ray Kelly, my thanks to you. That'll do it for us on Sunday Morning Futures. Be sure to tune in this Tuesday at Morning with Marie on Fox Business. We'll be live from the Milken Institute in LA. Key interviews with the CEO of Motorola and Chevron.
Your calling. Some people find theirs at an early age. Others, later in life. No matter when you find it, consider yourself lucky, because it becomes your everything. Our calling was to build trucks, and that's why trucks are what we do. We put our everything in every truck, so that when you find your calling, nothing can stop you from answering it.
Over 13 million Americans were affected by identity theft in 2022. Your information could be used to open loans, transfer home titles, or even commit crimes.
I had almost 20 accounts opened in my name. It was terrifying. I never dreamed it would happen to me.
Only LifeLock alerts you to the widest volume of threats all in one place. And if you're a victim, LifeLock works to fix it on your behalf, all backed by the $1 Million Protection Package. Enroll now.
Harry and David makes Mother's Day easy. Share a gift made with love with the mom in your life. Choose from hundreds of stunning baskets and towers. It's the perfect way to say thank you. for everything. Harry and David, life is a gift. Share more.
At Chomps, we believe every bite you take should be bursting with bold flavor and be a good source of protein. Grass-fed and grass-finished meat sticks, 0 sugar, and up to 12 grams of protein. Chomps, take bigger bites. Learn more at chomps.com.
We're here with Chris Cunahan of our local leaf filter. So Chris, tell us how leaf filter is different from every other gutter protection on the market.
With Leaf Filter's patented filter technology, there are no gaps, no openings, no place for debris to get in at all. And we install Leaf Filter on your existing gutters. It's a permanent solution. You'll never have to climb a ladder to clean out your gutters again.
That's amazing, Chris. Tell me about the process.
Simple and easy. Just give us a call, set up an appointment. We'll come out, give you a free gutter inspection. If they're sagging, we'll repair them. If they're broken, we'll replace them. If they're in good shape, our local team will install Leaf Filter in as little as a few hours.
Wow, and I understand you guys have a lifetime no clogs guarantee.
We do. It's actually a lifetime transferable no clogs guarantee.
You know, that's peace of mind and that's some. So how do people sign up?
To schedule your free inspection, call 833-LEAF FILTER today. Our agents are standing by. Or visit leaffilter.com.
I don't expect to look 38 at 58, but I do want to feel great. And I want to look great.
Cerevital is your award-winning beauty supplements at Ulta. Get started today at trycerevital.com. When your home needs work, where do you go?
Angie.
Angie?
That's where Angie came in.
With Angie, find top-rated certified pros in your area, plus compare quotes and pricing to help you get all your jobs done well. Find top-rated certified pros in your area at Angie.com.
Consumer Cellular, this is Sam. How may I help you? This is a butt dial. Oh, somebody's butt? Just thought I'd let you know that with Consumer Cellular, you can get the same exact coverage as the leading carriers, but for up to half the price.
Every day, more dog people are deciding it's time for a fresh approach to pet food. Developed with vets, made from real meat and veggies, portioned for your dog, and delivered right to your door. It's smarter, healthier pet food.
The possibility of a ceasefire in Gaza looking grim, as Israel keeps trying to secure the release of hostages held there for nearly 7 months, but Hamas says there will be no deal unless Israel agrees to give up its military campaign against the terror group. This is a brand new hour of Fox News Live. I'm Raquel Neville. Hi, Eric.
Hi, Raquel. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm Eric Shawn. You know, the collapse of those true toxic communist universities here at home, well, they're struggling to try and contain those persistent anti-Israel protests. Many schools now fed up with those encampments and turning to police to try and restore order on campus. Police, as you can see, were called in to clear out the camps at the University of Southern California and the University of Virginia. But some public colleges, including Rutgers University in New Jersey, well, they're giving in to some of the demands of the anti-Israel protesters, agreeing to consider spending taxpayer money to support their cause and review investments in Israel. We will have a reaction from the state senator who is demanding an investigation of Rutgers. Meantime, in Gaza, Palestinians, well, they are encouraged by what they see playing out on campuses across our country.
My message for the American students is that we are extremely proud and telling them to keep going despite all the arresting and all the oppression that they face. The whole world is talking about them and watching their videos. The whole Palestinian community and the Gaza people, they have seen this and they actually melted our hearts.
Well, Fox Team coverage starts right now. Matt Finn on how colleges are responding to the ongoing protest. Lucas Tomlinson live at the White House as President Biden faces mounting pressure over his handling of the campus unrest. But first, let's go to Jeff Paul, who's live in Tel Aviv, Israel, with the very latest on ceasefire talks in Cairo. Jeff, what's going on?
Well, yeah, Arthur, we are learning that Hamas has reportedly ended this latest round of negotiations in Egypt and now heading back to Qatar to meet with leadership to figure out their next moves. There's also some reporting suggesting that Hamas could be heading back to Egypt to continue those talks in about 2 days. At the same time, CIA Chief William Burns, who is also in Egypt, is now reportedly in Qatar. That's where he's going to be holding some emergency meetings with the Prime Minister there as these talks between Israel and Hamas are nearing collapse. Now, Qatar and the U.S. are expected to exert maximum pressure on both Israel and Hamas to keep negotiating. There's even some reporting from Axios suggesting that Burns could end up in Israel tomorrow. Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh reportedly said today that they are pushing for both a full withdrawal of Israeli troops and a comprehensive ceasefire. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says they cannot accept that, and if they did, the next October 7th would be only a matter of time. Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant said Hamas does not appear to be very serious about reaching a potential deal.
We are recognizing worrisome signals that Hamas is not planning to accept any deal or agreement with us. And the meaning of this, operation in Rafah and in the entire Gaza Strip in the very near future.
Oh, it's a good one.
While talks appear to be falling apart, Israel today ordered the closure of the Qatari-owned Al Jazeera TV office in Israel. The network has since been pulled from the main cable provider in Israel, and the network's broadcasting equipment was also reportedly confiscated. Prime Minister Netanyahu says Al Jazeera's reporting has harmed Israel's national security, adding that it was time to remove the Hamas mouthpiece from the country. Now, in a statement, the network pushed back on those allegations and said that Israel's ongoing suppression of the free press is seen as an effort to conceal their actions in Gaza. Arthel?
Jeff Paul live from Tel Aviv, Israel. Thank you very much, Jeff. Eric?
Well, police did step in at the USC campus in Los Angeles, clearing out anti-Israeli encampments. That happened early this morning. And we've seen similar scenes playing out on campuses across the country. Dozens of protesters arrested at the Art Institute of Chicago, as you see there, even though the school said it was ready to grant those protesters amnesty. Matt Finn, live in New York City with the very latest here, where we've seen disruption at Columbia University and other schools. And Matt.
Hey, Eric, I spent the day at NYU yesterday. I was there again this morning. We can report calm at NYU and also Columbia University here in New York City after weeks of chaos here. However, across the country right now, there are unlawful pro-Palestinian encampments popping up all over. Heading south to the University of Virginia, a massive police presence moved in yesterday on an unlawful encampment after more than a week of tension there. Video shows police using tear gas, dragging away at least one protester, and tearing down tents. At least 25 people were arrested. At Virginia, USC, NYU, and Columbia, these protesters are given warnings to clear their encampments before police move in. Virginia's Attorney General says at UVA, campus police ultimately called state police to intervene.
The reality is what you had at UVA were students that were warned repeatedly. They were violating both their student code of conduct. There was an unlawful assembly. There was trespassing. There were outsiders that were there. And after repeated warnings, when in fact the university police chief at UVA tried to do a wellness check and make sure there weren't weapons, these individuals blocked and surrounded them. They had to retreat. That's when they asked for the state police to intervene.
Now, out west at USC, police dismantled a growing pro-Palestinian encampment before sunrise today. No arrests reported. This is the second time police have cleared out a pro-Palestinian demonstration on that campus. Officers arrested 93 people nearly 2 weeks ago after a tense showdown with police. New video shows the aftermath of the USC cleanup. Posters, tents, blankets, plastics, all left behind. And the LA Times has a piece out right now questioning if any of the other encampments are simply on borrowed time right now, considering that police are ending them. We are aware of encampments at schools like Harvard and UPenn. Eric.
All right, Matt. Thanks so much.
Sure, Arthur.
They're chanting final solution or telling Jews to go back to where they came from. Why is Joe Biden so equivocal? Why does he have to draw moral equivalence between thousands of students who are setting up these little Gazas all across America, engaged in hate speech against Jews, assaulting Jews, disobeying the law, and some fictional encampment that's spreading Islamophobia?
And that's Senator Tom Cotton on ABC criticizing President Biden's handling of those anti-Israel protests that have swept college campuses nationwide. Lucas Tomlinson picks up the story live at the White House with the very latest from there. Lucas.
And Arthel, many Republican lawmakers like Senator Cotton say President Biden has not done enough to slow down these protests on college campuses, some of which turned violent last week.
His failure to address this early on and to make very clear whose side he was on has just fed this. It's just increased this.
It was absolutely too late. It was 2 weeks after these pro-Hamas fanatics had taken over a lot of campuses.
And Arthel, we just took a stroll through the encampment at George Washington University a few minutes ago. The campus just 5 blocks from the White House. This large American flag put up by the GW staff remains. As you can see, more Palestinian flags and stickers have been attached to the statue of our first president. If you look to the right, you can see a large Palestinian flag has been raised on the flagpole. A short time ago, GW's president issued a new statement to the community, a lengthy letter, which one student who gave it to me called pretty embarrassing and allows the protesters to, quote, take a victory lap. The letter reads in part, quote, it is clear that this is no longer a GW student demonstration. It has been co-opted by individuals who are largely unaffiliated with our community and do not have the community's best interest in mind. Is increasingly unsafe and a violation of university and city regulations. A number of Democratic lawmakers also weighed in on the Sunday shows today.
Students, especially Jewish students, have the right to feel safe on campus.
Everyone from the president on down is aware that young people are upset at what's going on in the Middle East, and I do think it's had an awakening in Washington that this war has to end, that too many people are dying.
Some historians are drawing parallels between the anti-war protests of the 1960s during the Vietnam War, which came to a head in 1968 at the Democratic National Convention in Chicago, the same place where the Democratic Convention will be held this summer. Martha?
Yeah, Lucas Thomason, thank you. Eric?
For Jewish students and organizations are looking to hold universities and colleges accountable for the surging anti-Semitism on campus. 3 students at Northwestern University has filed a lawsuit against the school, claiming they were subject to anti-Semitic harassment during an anti-Israel protest. This is the Anti-Defamation League, the ADL, and the Brandeis Center for Human Rights have filed complaints against the University of Massachusetts and Amherst, alleging that there's rampant discrimination there. There I quote, there were statements from UMass Amherst student groups praising Hamas's terrorism as justified resistance and disruptive pro-Hamas protests that prevented people from physically entering or exiting buildings, working, or studying. The director of the Brandeis Center for Human Rights under law, Ken Marcus, joins us right now, has been fighting this for quite a long time. Ken, we've seen some playing out of these encampments over the past few days, but is that stemming the issue?
It isn't. Eric, good to be with you, but unfortunately what we're seeing is that while there are some campuses where things are finally being cleared out, others where students have had to return home because of the situation that they're facing, or where they're suffering under circumstances that they shouldn't have to deal with, where they're being prevented as Jews from getting to class, from going where they want to go, where they're being assaulted or harassed and intimidated.
Why hasn't it been stopped? Why is it continuing and tolerated as it has been?
We're seeing a significant moral failure, I would say, from university leaders at many institutions. Too many of them are timid and afraid of the reaction that they'll get from the students, from the faculty, from the media, and others. That's why we're getting a mixed reaction from administrators, some willing to do the right thing, and others not.
And what do you see at the University of Massachusetts, one of the institutions that you have a statement about filing lawsuits?
Well, we've said something very clearly in the complaint that we just filed against them just this past week. There, you're seeing both the extraordinary, vile anti-Semitic language and also a physical assault on a Jewish student. That's something that simply shouldn't be tolerated at any institution in this country.
The university says that they did take quick action, that a perpetrator was arrested. They say, quote, University of Massachusetts fosters a inclusive, respectful learning, teaching, and working environment, that it condemns anti-Semitism as well as Islamophobia. Do you buy that? Is that enough for them to issue their statements? What do you want them to do?
No, I don't buy that. What I want them to do is to be very clear and very specific and address the environment that they have on campus that has been made toxic by this and other situations over a long period of time. It's not enough simply to make one phone call or deal with one thing. The University of Massachusetts is a very serious problem, and they need to fix it.
At Rutgers University, we will have State Senator John Bramnick on later in this program. He's calling for an investigation because they basically acceded to some of the demands of protesters there. What do you think of the universities that, in order to clear this out, are giving in to some of the protesters?
Reprehensible. The last thing they should be doing when dealing with violent extremism and outright racist or anti-Semitic behavior is to compromise or to negotiate with the perpetrators, especially when they are essentially, in some cases, shutting out the targeted group from all of this. There should be no benefits given to the perpetrators. The last thing that universities should be doing is rewarding this bad behavior.
We're looking at the campus at University in New Brunswick at the moment. Why can, and you've been involved with this issue for a long time, is it leftist? Is it a lack of some understanding that this was World War II and they were protesting in favor of the Nazis, for example? That wouldn't have been tolerated. What has happened to the moral fiber and the ethical sense of humanity on some of these campuses to allow this and to have these misguided young people? They have the right to free expression, but some of them go beyond that to supporting terrorism.
Well, you're absolutely right to point to this as a moral failing on behalf of some universities.
Okay, I'm gonna save it up.
Insisting on closing encampments.
And we'll catch you guys next time. All right, peace out.
Only because of the time or manner over the encampments, as if it wasn't worth it.